Okay, guys. Hello, everyone. We're live. Hey, guys. It's Old Man G here, back again with another Red Devil Studio live podcast. I'm joined again by the weekly regulars of Shawnee and Josh, and we've got a lot to obviously talk about. I know it is Champions League night right now, but frankly, is that me? That's me, I think. Sorry about that. But you know, the result for both games is quite redundant, to be honest, because Spurs are out and Valencia are out, and that was the case probably even beforehand. Shout out to Telba in the comments. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. So essentially what we're going to do with this podcast is we're just going to review a few events from the weekend. Then we're going to basically preview the remaining Champions League games and some of the relevant Europa League games, and then quickly preview game week 30's games this weekend. So there's a lot to cover. We'll hopefully won't take too long in each segment, and we'll get going. How does that sound to everybody?
Sounds great.
Cool. Okay, awesome. Right. Okay, so I'm going to show this Red Dawn Rising. Now, what do people mean by Red Dawn Rising? I mean, obviously, you know, I was at the game. I think a lot of people who are regular see this channel will see that Manchester United did the double. Oli did the double on Pep Guardiola and Manchester United 2, City 0. There's some momentum coming with Manchester United. You know, there's a lot of momentum, a lot of positivity, you know, that seems to be being generated by this football club right now. So I guess my question, guys, is, do you guys see that? Is this a turning point? Do you guys see it as a new turning point for Manchester United? Do you think that Manchester United are now, you know, I'm not just thinking just about even this season, but even next season when it comes to sort of the way that United are and their strengths, because aside from obviously Liverpool, Manchester United are one of the most informed teams on top of the table. So I'll put it to Shawnee as a Liverpool fan. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a test of time. Trying to see whether the new signs can like truly gel. It's normal, I think, for new signings, especially of the quality of the signs that United have made, to make an instant impact. I think that's fine. It's just let's have a look, see if they can kick on from that next season, because obviously right now you're making a push for the top four, but really, you know, a club of United stature is pushing for that number one spot. So it's just let's have a look, a test of time. I think it's vitally important that Man United get into the Champions League this season, though, because you're threatening all the big players to turn their heads away a little bit. But it was I mean, I really enjoyed the match, obviously.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Of course you did.
So I was really made up that United turned up in such a way, and they played really well. They played them. I mean, City still had spurts of quality, but there wasn't a massive amount of quality. There wasn't like any major threats towards Man United, I didn't think. And then obviously towards the end there, they wrapped it up with it was a double Edison mistake, let's face it. And yeah, they just played really well. I think they have had spurts of playing fantastically this season. The draw against Liverpool being another good example, where you think to yourself, if they played like this every week, they wouldn't be struggling to get into the top four as they are.
What was that comment by Joshy there? Some sort of behind the ball.
10 men behind the ball.
10 men behind the ball. Still comment. I mean, he needs to know what Arsenal are in the table. But anyway, let's not go into that. So
we beat you guys. Just remember that.
Yeah, you were beaten by feta cheese, man. So enough of that. So let's go. Feta cheese, man, knocked out Arsenal. But anyway, Shawnee, go on, yep. Shawnee.
Yeah, so a lot of quality seen in the Man United squad, and like I say, I still don't write City off completely. I don't think they're a complete flop. It's just that I would say that.
Do you not think that if City don't win the Champions League, that they would have been a flop this season?
This season, I think if they don't come away with anything, then it would be a complete failure to them.
I mean, they won the Carabao Cup, obviously.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. So like they've got a cup under their belt. It's just that I don't know. Once again, City's it's the standard that the fans hold City to, and I feel that if they don't win a major cup, Carabao Cup, I don't know if that's considered a major cup still. I personally think it's one of them cups where it's just like, oh yeah, and we played in the Carabao Cup, yeah. But I can't even remember who got knocked out, but I think it was Villa. But yeah, it's just you don't really massively care about the Carabao Cup. It's one of them cups where you're just like, oh yeah, it's the Carabao, but really Champions League. I mean, borderline FA Cup is one of those cups nowadays that maybe has lost its prestige a little bit as well. And it's just really Champions League, Premiership. Them kind of trophies that they're the kind of the pristine, the cups that you aspire to win.
Fair enough. Okay.
Josh,
do you have anything?
Yeah, I was just going to say, if I was to quickly summarise, just well done to Man United because they have picked it up over the last few games, and it's just a test of time just to see if these new signs can kick on.
Fair enough. See, that's reasonable, especially from a Liverpool fan. I'm interested to see what you have to say about this point, Josh, considering your previous comments. What do you think about this United situation?
Firstly, I hate Man United, just to get out of there. But you have to give credit where credit is due. I've said before that they were pretty much like one or two signings away from being up there. And really, it's only been one, but they needed Bruno Fernandes. It's just, when you have a player like that, like it's like when Pogba plays for Man United. People know how good he is, and so that gives you confidence. When you play football, you play 5-a-side with your mates or 11-a-side or whatever, and there's that one good guy in your team. Like, it gives you so much confidence. And Pogba is that guy for Man United, but obviously he's had his injury troubles and whatever. And Bruno Fernandes has been there a month? A bit over?
A bit, yes. He obviously signed him towards the end of January, so yeah, about a month, I'd say, yeah. And
the impact he's had is Pogba-esque. He, especially because of the role. Like, there are, I would say, 3 positions which sort of where you can are sort of commanding positions. One's goalkeeper. So if you have a sick goalkeeper, then you're just like, oh, nice. Like, we got a goalkeeper, we don't have to worry too much. Like, for example, Alisson, how much he improved Liverpool. Then central defender, so people like Van Dijk, people like not really many else is there. But Van Dijk.
People like Van Dijk.
And then a holding midfielder, whether that be a defensive mid or sort of centre midfielder. And people like Kante, Fabinho, and Bruno Fernandes is sort of playing that holding midfielder role. And you can just see how like people react to it. Like his assist for Martial in that first goal was like prime Ozil. Yeah. Like who else? I mean, not many people are picking up something like that and doing it, having the confidence to do it.
Exactly.
So you can see the difference. What I mean by that is Martial's making runs in behind. Like, he doesn't do that as much as he should do, but like I saw him making so many runs in behind in the past how many games. Other players are now reacting. Fred's been pretty good all season, but he looks solid. And obviously Wan-Bissaka, one of the signings of the season. He was apart from Trent, he was the best right back last season. Yeah. For me, I would arguably say, I know obviously he's better defensively than Trent, but I'd say he's up there again, which is incredible. I'm
going to say something controversial. I'm going to say that right now I feel that Wan-Bissaka is better than Trent. I'm going to say that.
In current form, because Trent has been a filthy mudblood the past 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, but it's because he's not, it's because he's the thing for me is that, like, as a fullback or as a defender, like, the primary objective is always to be able to defend ultimately. yes, like I know players and managers who play like high pace, fullbacks that go and push teams forward, and that's important, especially in the modern game. But you also, I think for me, the basic thing first is got to be able to defend, and when a team basically figures you out and pushes your fullbacks back, or for example, you're having a bad day and able to cross, you should still be able to rely on that basic ability to defend. And I think my problem with Trent is, especially when I looked at the Watford game and a few other games, like he was just destroyed defensively. Like he was just all over the place,
I think Henderson has a big role in that because Henderson is always barking at Trent. Every time I watch Henderson, he's always shouting things at Trent because he plays at the right side of the midfield, and he kind of keeps Trent right. Because remember, Trent is still young.
That's true. So
as a young player, you want to bomb up forward, and it's not like he doesn't track back. It's just his defensive awareness sometimes.
No, yeah, exactly.
It's so just when Henderson's there, he plays really well for me. And Henderson covers a lot of that ground as well when Trent's up there. So Trent's he's still world class. I mean, we forget that he's 20, which is incredible. But I mean, it's good for England's future though, having some amazing competition there. We'll see what happens in the Euros, etc. But yeah, all credit. There's nothing bad I have to say about Man United right now. They're playing for the manager. They're playing for the badge. And if I'm honest, I would cash in on Pogba in the summer, but that's probably a discussion for a later topic.
Yeah, it'll be discussion definitely for a later time, I think so. But I certainly hear that. So fair enough. We'll put the Manchester United topic to one because I don't want to dwell on it. So, but I think with Manchester United, I think it is a question of watch this space and basically see what happens. So because you're obviously really maybe this is another top, but Spurs. I think we all know that Spurs are probably not going to get top four. I think that's just sort of done. Arsenal have an outside chance, I think. And I think a lot of that, and we might talk about that towards the end, where we talk about whether if they beat City. If they beat City, then they possibly have an outside chance. So really, the Gunners are Chelsea and United, and will depend on who has the best form till the end. So, in our break, we will probably do another recap of who will get top four. So I think this is a sort of a watch this space type of situation. Anyway, moving on to I think another important topic. Important if you're a Liverpool fan, and the idea is Liverpool close in. So obviously, thanks to the fact that United obviously did beat City, Liverpool are essentially 2 games away, 2 wins away from the Premier League title. And what I thought was even weird was, two scenarios are, they could obviously potentially win the game, win the title at Anfield, which would be great, obviously, for Liverpool fans against Crystal Palace if they beat them there. However, if Arsenal obviously beat Manchester City, and as we said, they kind of need to if they want to keep in the race for top 4, then you could have a scenario, quite a interesting scenario where if Liverpool, who will be playing Everton this weekend, if Liverpool beat Everton at their home, obviously away, so to speak, then they could obviously seal the title there. So I'm curious. I mean, I think the first question to ask is like, what scenario would you prefer, Shawnee? Winning it at Everton, or winning it at Anfield?
Yeah, I don't like. I mean, at this stage, it's just wherever we win it, it will just be an absolute glorious and long time since we've obviously won it. So where we win it doesn't really bother me too much. If we won it at Goodison's, it's going to be that whole looking back at when Arsenal won it at Tottenham, White Hart Lane. So that it's just just to rub it in that we're champions of Liverpool. Parading it around Goodison Park would be absolutely fantastic. But it's one of them where I just whatever it takes. Obviously, Everton Goodison would be sooner, so the sooner the better for me. Really, the sooner we can win it and wrap it up and just maybe concentrate on other things. like the Champions League or something like that, then great. Let's do it at Goodison. But yeah, I either or really. I've not seen them win the Premiership, so yeah, whether they win at Anfield or at Goodison, just anywhere's fine for me.
Just I apologise. You know, it must be difficult not being able to see a Premier League title at Liverpool for goodness knows how many years. You know, so it must have been quite difficult for you during those times. So, but there we go. You know, so I mean, as a United fan, it was just all the time, really. You know, so you just got used to it. But anyway, Josh, are you there? Oh, he's headed off. Okay, he's back. I guess the only thing I'd say, well, obviously, if we look at the Bournemouth game, and obviously, while Liverpool did win, was there not anything about that performance that maybe concerns you a little bit, especially regarding, you know, although I think it was a foul, you know, but the early goal and Liverpool's defense, especially looking at obviously the Atletico game, are there a few worrying signs, do you think?
I think in the previous podcast, I was saying that I think it will be nervy and it will be an anxious performance. And it really was. It was like quite a nervy and anxious performance. They were very wary of that. They could lose if they didn't play right. But at the same time, there was some good signs as well. The confidence was coming back. I mean, it could have been. I mean, even if they scored the lob that James Milner cleared. I mean, Mane had a terrific shot from outside of the box that hit the angle.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. So like we could have also had another couple of goals easily as well, where Bournemouth didn't really have that much to show for. So like, yeah, I knew it was going to be a little bit of an anxious performance, and you could tell that from the crowd as well. But like I said, I was kind of expecting that. What I wanted from the game was a reaction to the loss, and also getting back to winning ways. And even though I didn't think we'd blow them away, I got the scoreline right. I said 2-1, and we got that. So I can't really say anything surprised me there. I was expecting the anxiousness, because we've just come off a loss, which is alien to us, where we don't really know what losing in the Premiership is. And we responded just how I expected, and now it's just a matter of pushing on. We're 1-0 down against Atletico. You could see that Mane was starting to grow in confidence. Even Salah, who I'm not like, it might come as a shock to most people listening to this, but I'm not really like a massive Salah fan. Like I know that he's our top goal scorer and he's getting us the goals, but in any other team, Salah would be completely useless because we give him so many chances. We put so many chances on a plate for him that eventually he's got to score one. That's just the way it goes. But if he was in another team where you maybe don't get so many chances,
like United,
you might not be. He wouldn't look at like such a good player because he squanders a lot, makes a lot of incorrect decisions, wrong passes, and. But even he looked really sharp, looked like he wanted to score and, was doing all the right things. Trent, we just mentioned Trent. Even though, once again, there was a little bit of anxiousness in his gameplay, I think he was sort of looking like his normal self again a little bit. And it's just, I think that's down to the manager. I think Klopp sorted them out a little bit and just like said, look, listen, guys, let's calm down. Let's just go back to where we were. We were hunting in packs again, which is another thing I mentioned previously, which was I want to see them hunting like a wild pack of dogs again, and they were back to doing that as well, chasing down every ball. So it was nervy. I admit that there was anxiousness there. I was expecting it though, so it didn't really catch me off by surprise or anything. And now I just want to see a good performance at Anfield with Atletico tomorrow.
I disagree with the Salah statement. Otherwise, I agree with everything.
Okay.
I feel like Mane's probably been the better person this season, but Salah does miss a lot of chances, I agree. But like his stats just don't it's like some games, you'll see there's a lot of games where the best players, they just don't turn up, and it happens. But I remember reading the statistic. It was something to do with Michael Owen. Like Salah, hold on, let me get it up real quick. Salah, so he's the first Liverpool player to score 20 plus goals in 3 consecutive seasons since Michael Owen, and everybody knows how good Michael Owen was. Like maybe one of Liverpool's best strikers ever, apart from Dalglish and
Suarez.
You know,
I guarantee I would needed half the chances Salah did, because he didn't have as good a team around him as what Salah has.
Yeah, we can say that.
When Owen
don't lie.
got the goal, it was a goal.
Yeah,
it was just.
But you got to remember, like those are like Liverpool. Like Salah's not a striker. Like he's getting these stats as a winger. Torres, the Suarez's, Owens, Dalglish, they were all strikers. But Salah's getting these goals from a winger, which is like unheard of. These statistics. I think he got 70 goals in 100 games in the Premier League. I mean, yeah. I don't know. For me, like I've given Salah a lot of slack this season too, but when I read up on his stats, and it just shows you how vital he is to the Liverpool team. But yeah,
definitely, like he brings a lot of fear into the opposition.
Yeah, I mean he's been doubled up since like ever since that wonder season. There's been like triple team, double teams. It's like it must be hard for him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, what I was saying by not a Salah fan is that I'm sometimes quite skeptic. Like I understand why Klopp plays him, but at the same time, there's a lot of the times where I'm just like, Salah's had enough chances, pass it to someone else. You know, let somebody else have a go.
Would you sign Timo Werner in the summer as a replacement for Salah?
Well, he plays in Bobby Firmino's place, doesn't he?
He can play off the wing, Timo Werner. He can, or possibly even Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, I think. Well, Jadon Sancho. Obviously, he's the one to look at. But I think has Mohamed Salah overtaken Vardy now? Because has he scored 20 goals this season, or is that in all competition? I think that's all competition. I think he's scored 16. Yeah, I think
he's already ahead of Vardy anyway, because Vardy's been injured for quite some time. So
if he's still top goal scorer in the Premiership, like how can you really replace him? And I'm kind of eating my words here, but it's true. Like how, I mean, you can't really leave him out if he's still doing the business. All I'm saying is that we need to give him a lot to get that performance out of him. And you might not have to do that with someone like Timo Werner or something like that, you know. It's just I don't know what Klopp's gonna do. I know that there's already a bit of an issue with Minamino. And
what do you mean there's an issue with Minamino?
Well, apparently the squad hasn't quite taken to him. So like there's been a bit of chatter within the camp that maybe that the Liverpool squad doesn't really trust him, and they're not behaving in the way towards him as what they should, and they're looking at him as a bit of an imposter rather than actual teammate.
Why are they looking at him like an imposter? It's not because they think he has coronavirus or something like that, is it? Or like,
no,
just shit like that. Like,
I don't think so. I hope not. Japan
I hope not too.
Yeah,
because he seemed like a pretty good player at Salzburg. So I'm very strange. I'm very strange by that sort of. That's very interesting.
I was. Klopp keeps playing him as striker though.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I think. It might have been something that when they were signing him, something that Klopp was saying that he might be. Are you interested in fulfilling this role? And that's why he's being played up there. But yeah, I don't know. Like I say, I think he'll come good. I don't understand what this chatter is. I mean, it's just what I've been reading in the Liverpool news and some of the major newspapers that. Even Klopp understood that the team should have behaved differently towards it. Like some of the passes could have been to Minamino and they weren't. and there's been like trust issues between the team and Minamino.
Maybe it could be a language barrier. That's also another thing, possibly, maybe. And I don't know that was a thing. So, but no, I guess it's just interesting because you look at, you look at Bruno Fernandes, for example, and it's like he's been playing at Manchester United for like years. You know what I mean? It's like this.
Yeah.
He just came in and that was it. You know what I mean? So it's just so I guess different players have different things.
Yeah.
Anyway, quickly moving on. Sorry, because I could relate that point. But anyway, Liverpool are basically going to win the title, either Crystal Palace or a Goodison. We will see, depending on what Arsenal do to City tomorrow. Funnily enough, so a couple of big games tomorrow. Actually, Arsenal versus City, PSG versus Dortmund, Liverpool versus Atletico. We're going to come to those in a second. But before we go on to that, just a quick. I'll get literally like minutes on like guys. Like, what do you think about Jose Mourinho at Spurs, guys? Because is he done? Do you think he's done completely? Like, does he? Well, he's being bantered right now in the Champions League. They're probably not going to qualify for Champions League next season. To be fair, yes, there are a lot of players have been out injured, but with the draw against Burnley, and obviously they scored via penalty, and with United obviously at the weekend, and a lot of people think that he's going to lose that hard. He's not. I think Bergwijn is injured, Kane is injured, Son is injured, Sissoko's injured. I think Dele Alli might be suspended.
Well, I was having this conversation with Jamie, don't you?
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with him about Mourinho, and like we were saying, it's kind of sad because, like, when we saw him as a pundit, we saw a bit more of his personality and his human side. It was nice to see it, and we kind of wanted to see him back in management. Nobody thought was going to be Spurs. I mean, I don't know who we thought he was going to join, but nobody thought it was going to be Spurs. And he had a good run at the start. You could maybe attribute that to a manager bounce, and they did have.
Did he have a good run though? Did he have a good run? People keep on saying that.
They won their first. They won their first few games, and then they lost against Chelsea. Then that's when they started not doing too well. We're basically saying, like, we think he's done. His type of football is outdated, basically. The most successful teams of recent have been teams like City, who can press you, Liverpool, who can press you high and get back quickly. And Mourinho is still kind of playing like park the bus, like sloppy counter, and it's just outdated. I think for me, if PSG don't get past Dortmund, I could possibly see him there, just because Tuchel would get sacked, number one.
I think that PSG and Mourinho would suit each other, because
that's what I'm saying.
He would them out, and I don't know why he wasn't there soon. And I think that's where he should be for now. I would agree. Because
and if he doesn't do anything there, I mean, he'll win a league on definitely, but it's the Champions League they're more fussed about. And Mourinho has won a few Champions Leagues in his time. I think after that,
also,
either that or maybe the Portuguese.
He maybe know how to handle the bigger personalities. Like, he wouldn't take it because the thing with PSG, I have a feeling is just that they're just all I just feel like Thomas Tuchel is not really. I don't think he's really strong enough for that PSG team. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think he's. He just kind of lets them get on with what they want to do, and there's no real actual structure. But anyway, that's a side point. We're going to talk about that later.
Just for the record as well, they're also 2-0 down against Leipzig right now. So
Spurs, that's why I didn't even bother even covering these two games, because I just assumed that the Spurs and Valencia games were foregone conclusions, to be honest, because they're just so bad. And they are foregone conclusions, because Atalanta are basically through to the quarters and Leipzig are. So there you go. So last point. I guess the thing is, like, do you both your opinions on this, guys, and obviously let me know in the comments as well for everyone who's listening. Do you think if United go to Spurs and batter them, which is a possibility, you know, if they do, should Jose be sacked? Sean, you go first, and then Josh.
Yeah, once again,
They'll give him to the end. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't hear you say. Go on.
Oh, did you say?
I said Sean. I should think Sean, then first, then Josh.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know whether you could sack him. You just listed a whole bunch of superstars that are injured. Jose is going to use that, you know, to basically say, look, you got to give me a break here. I've lost all of my big players, and you know that has a massive effect on somebody like Tottenham, who maybe doesn't have enough quality to fill in for them roles. I mean, there's no one that can really replace Son because he's. Yep.
But Levy has already said, fairly confident as you expected, that if there's no Champions League football next year, then there's no budget for next year either. Essentially, so it's like, so that's how it is. It's like, so even if there's injuries, at the end of the day, it's like he's not getting a track, you know. So, you know, the way I kind of, you know what I mean.
My case for that would be, what if this happens though? You know, if you're sitting face to face with Levy and you just like say, look, listen, buddy, if I have 4 or 5 injuries of my main team and there's no one to back them up, no one to fill their shoes, what are you expecting from me? Because if you had that's probably the equivalent of Firmino, Mane, you know, Henderson, and you know, whoever being out of the team, that would also be a big hit for Liverpool. You know, we'd have a Minamino, Divock Origi, you know, filling in for them. Would we still be getting the same results if that was?
Of course. But it's just that
I feel kind of bad for Spurs. You know, like they literally have no striker right now.
No. Yeah. Shout out to Rasmus in the comments, man. Shout out to Rasmus. Long time no see, mate. Hope you're doing well. If you have any questions for us, do let us know. We're about to go on to our champ. In fact, we should probably go into half an hour in, and we're not really talking about the Champions League yet. So, without further ado, let's preview. Let's actually start with what I think is, well, they're both big games, but I think this is a very, very big game, especially for PSG. PSG versus Dortmund, going to be behind closed doors because obviously the coronavirus outbreak, and you know, Dortmund obviously, thanks to Erling Haaland's brace, are ahead. Although PSG have got the away goal. What do you think is going? Do you guys think that PSG have got this? Because my head says, of course they should be able to, but my heart says, I don't know. I think that Dortmund could potentially have something planned. Josh? What do you think first before I slate this banter team? Because I'm going to slate them. I want you guys to speak first.
I don't know, man. Dortmund. I don't know. Honestly, it's obviously
because they defended very well.
United, yeah, Man United beat PSG at PSG last season. That's the only thing that.
And bearing in mind, there's no Verratti, or Thiago Silva.
Yeah.
Does that make a difference? Do you think?
Well, I mean, Verratti on his game, like, is one of the best players in the world. I still remember that game where Liverpool played Milner, like Henderson and somebody else in the middle. And I was like, what? Why? Like, whose idea was this? And Verratti literally just was pinging passes as if like he was Andre Pirlo in his prime. So he on his day, he has a big miss. I mean, I'm not really sure what he was doing.
Kylian Mbappe also might not start either as well, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird one as well. Like, if I'm a player, I'm doing everything I can to get fit for that game. You know, Neymar was in the first game, wasn't he?
He was. Didn't do much.
So, like I said, if Man United didn't beat PSG at PSG last season, I know they were down, so that that could be a factor too.
Atalanta just scored again.
Yeah, Atlanta.
That's game's over.
So I think Dortmund.
I guess what I'm saying is that
I don't think Dortmund are going to win. That's what I'm trying to say.
So you don't think Dortmund can win?
Saying,
when they will not have Verratti, Thiago Silva, and Mbappe, their best defender, their best midfielder, and the best forward.
What I'm saying is.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
I'm saying I don't know if they will. Like, it could be a draw, or something. I think Dortmund is still going to go through, but I don't think they're going to beat them at PSG. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, Shawnee,
so I think that's still going to go through.
Yeah, so Dortmund was my dark horse. Like when we were doing our predictions for who's the dark horse of the Champions League, I actually mentioned Dortmund, and I still think that they're going to make it through. I don't know what's going to happen in this game. I have a feeling that Dortmund will turn up as planned. They're basically one goal away from going through. That's how I see it. If they score a goal, I think it's pretty much done. And like you say, they've got a PSG not having not turning up with their full strength squad. I think they need to really, because Dortmund are growing in strength in the Bundesliga. I think they're in the same form as Bayern. So I think Bayern have got one draw in 5, where Dortmund has got one loss in 5. So like there's 2 points between them in the Bundesliga. So they've really picked it up, because at the beginning of our podcast this season, Dortmund were floating around 10th place. So they're in second now with just 3 points behind, or 4 points behind Bayern. Sorry, so really massively picked up their form. Some really, really good signings in January. I'd say maybe the best signing. The best of the January signings. Yeah. So they're still my dark horse. I think it's going to be a Liverpool Dortmund final, and I think that they're just a goal away from making it.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, like I wanted you guys to speak first because I wanted to do a mini rant about PSG before we move on to Liverpool Atletico Madrid game, because frankly, if PSG get knocked out of the round of 16 again, and this will be their third year in a row, I think they need to shut down the club. To be honest,
yeah, right.
I think they need to totally shut down this, because essentially, despite the amount of money, despite the amount of pumped into this club, all they really are they've destroyed the French league because there's no competition in it really. They usually win the league by November. Okay, there's no competition. They have the quality of players to actually come and compete in the Champions League, and they blow it every single time to opposition that increasingly are nowhere near as strong as they should be competing.
Oh my goodness!
What happened?
Leipzig, take a bow.
Yeah,
take a bow.
Anyway,
you dance all over that stadium.
Right. Okay. So Leipzig are obviously mutilating Spurs as we knew about that. So anyway, as we're live, I think that all I'm saying is that with now that Thiago Silva, Mbappe, and you essentially have their best centre back, their best midfielder, and their best forward, because I'd argue Mbappe has been on more form than Neymar has been.
Yeah.
Don't you like what actual what chance do PSG have? Sorry, because what chance do they have?
Yeah, I mean, like,
and bearing in mind, I'll just make my point. Bearing in mind that Dortmund obviously will be having their injured players who are coming back. So Marco Reus, for example, is going to be playing. For example, I could say there are a few others that are injuries that are back for Dortmund. Whereas once again, much like last season, where they had, I think Neymar was out and a few others, they've got injuries at the crucial time, and they don't have the mentality to perform. It's
true. I personally, I wouldn't play Royce just yet. I mean, this is besides the question that you just asked, but they've been gaining momentum in the Bundesliga, winning games without Royce. I don't know whether that will sort of throw the balance off a little bit. I'd maybe bring it on as a sub, like late on, like 75, 80 minutes or something like that. But I wouldn't just put him straight into this game. I think he'd be a bit lost and a bit unfit. But what can PSG do? I mean, there's still a threat there. Neymar, he can pull quality out of the bag at any given moment.
He can.
Yeah.
But the question is, will PSG be able to keep out? Like, my issue is not necessarily that will PSG score. They can certainly score. The issue is, can PSG keep Dortmund out? That's the problem. Because if Dortmund score one goal, then for me the tie is over.
Yeah.
So without Thiago Silva in defense, without Verratti there, and without even the manpower, even if Dortmund score 2 goals, so PSG score 2 goals, which I think they can, I just think that when you've got the pace of Jadon Sancho, even another in that team, I just don't see how PSG are going to be able to keep Dortmund out. You know?
It's very true. To be completely honest, I'm not really in that position where I can defend PSG in any way, because I kind of have a feeling that Dortmund are going to go through anyway. They could still potentially be a threat from PSG. However, I just think, like I say, Dortmund, they'll come there with a game plan. I'm sure that they'll get a goal, and after that, it's just a matter of time before the tie's over. PSG will then be chasing the game. Dortmund can hit them on the break. They've got lots and lots of fast players. You just mentioned Jadon Sancho. He can run circles around that PSG defense if he wanted to. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know how to defend PSG really. The only thing that I can say is that they can press. They can press on in terms of getting the ball high up the pitch, getting Neymar, feed Neymar plenty of balls to Neymar to threaten them up top. The more the ball's up there, the less it's at the back, and the less chance Dortmund have of scoring. So like I say, that's maybe my only PSG defense, but I think Dortmund have got this.
Fair enough. Josh, do you have any final thoughts before we move on?
Nah, I guess I'll stick with what I said. I think it's going to be a draw. So that by default, Dortmund will go through. I don't see Dortmund losing the tie. But yeah, I think it's going to be a draw.
Cool. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So moving on to a game where I want to interested to see what Shawnee. So Liverpool, obviously Atletico, Liverpool down, but Liverpool at Anfield for this leg. A lot of people praising Diego Simeone for his tactical masterclass against Liverpool, and Liverpool obviously since that lost to Watford, lost to Chelsea obviously away, and then even struggled, what some might say, to beat Bournemouth, conceding an early goal due to defensive. It was a foul. It was a foul, but sometimes they're not given. So
there you go. VAR no more.
Yeah, but VAR no more. It's more like Arsenal now.
It's VAR Chester.
There's no VAR. How is it VAR Chester even?
Definitely VAR Chester.
We should have had a penalty against City, but we didn't get that. So that was
we got one decision eventually, and they tried to not give it to us. They were looking at the screen for like 10 minutes. It was like, it's onside. What are you checking? My goodness.
But what do you think about this game, Sean? Do you think are you confident that Liverpool can beat Atletico Madrid at Anfield?
Yeah, I'm confident. Like I say, we've had a run of the Chelsea game didn't really bother me too much. Once again, we didn't really have a full strength squad out until the last 15 minutes of the game. And yeah, it's one of them things where, okay, fair enough, crash out the FA Cup like that. Never mind. Sorry,
no treble.
No treble. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I wasn't really expecting a treble this season. To be completely honest, I wasn't. I thinking to myself, okay, we're going to win a treble this season. I just thought that we'd have a good a good run at the Premiership and a good run in the Champions League again. One of the reasons for that is purely because the FA Cup has kind of lost its shine a little bit. Not many clubs really drive with full teams, the full strength team into that competition, going all out to try and win it. It just doesn't happen anymore. So like I'm never expecting a huge massive effort in the FA Cup. So when it comes to trebles, it's the same's happened with City over the last couple of seasons, where people are saying, "Oh, could they win the quadruple? Could they win the quadruple?" And they end up just winning the Premiership, you know. And it's purely because there's a lack of interest from the manager and the players in them kind of competitions. It's just lost its shine. So yeah, like no more treble, and I'm confident that Liverpool can get a result at Anfield. It's Anfield. We've still got. I mean, we're still unbeaten there in goodness knows. I think it's like 44 games or something. So it's going to be really tough for Madrid as well to think to themselves that they can come there and win. There's going to be a psychological edge that Liverpool have. I think these losses are going to do us good. We've responded at Bournemouth quite anxiously. Like I said earlier on in the podcast, I knew it was going to be anxious. But I still got the response that I was looking for. Just chasing it, running that ball down, getting in Bournemouth's face, and we could have scored a couple of other goals as well if we were a little sharper. Champions League's always different. Teams turn up. If you're giving yourself 100% in the Premiership, you give 110% in the Champions League. And Liverpool, always performs better in the Champions League. We had an off day when we went there. If you want to call it a masterclass, I quite frankly call it being a puss cake. So it's not going to be like that at Anfield. I think I'm fairly confident we can get a goal and just push on to get that win.
Fine. So is there anything, I mean, before I go into Josh, is there anything that would concern you about Atletico right now? Because obviously, sort of the way I see it is that if Atletico do score, isn't that game over effectively? Because they'll just drop back and just sit back behind.
Yeah, just have to, once again, what are we made out of? Okay, if they're going to sit back, we couldn't break them down last time. Is it going to be the same now? We're just going to give up. It's up to the lads on the pitch. They've got plenty of drive about them. They know they can do it. They know they can score. I mean, they scored 4 goals past Barcelona. Is Atletico Madrid Barcelona? No. Like I say, they're just, we can do it both. We can defend well against them, and we can push on and grab that goal. So I think even though it's going to be tight, and it's probably going to be our biggest challenge, to date in the Champions League, I still think I've seen them play all season, and they have more than enough ability to get through this tie, and I'm confident we'll turn it around at Anfield.
Fair enough. Josh, quick comments on this game before we move on.
Yeah, Liverpool are going to win at Anfield.
Just that, really. Liverpool going to win at Anfield. Just that.
Anfield, isn't it?
Even if Atletico score first, do you still think they could win?
Atletico won't score first.
Liverpool
going to get an early goal, and then it's game over. Atletico don't know what to do, because Atletico will be set up. It's going to be drilled in their heads for the past week, 2 weeks. 10 men behind the ball, park that bus, do whatever you can, get a platinum pass if you have to. Just park that bus. Don't let them score. That's going to be through their heads. So when Liverpool get that early goal, Salah bombing in on that right wing, then they're going to be like, oh, we weren't meant to score. I mean, we weren't meant to let them score. And then malfunction. And then it's just going to be game over after that. Liverpool get another goal. And then, I mean, obviously, Atletico only need 1 goal to go through, even if Liverpool score 2. But
yeah, because if
I don't see Liverpool conceding on Anfield.
That for me is my concern, because if Atletico get a quick early goal, then in order for Liverpool to go through, they need to score 3 goals, which is still possible at Anfield. But I mean, it just makes it tougher when you now have to. I've noticed like in recent source games, so speak of so that it is just Liverpool finding it difficult to break down teams, which they didn't used to be able to. Now that might change. Obviously, Henderson has been cleared to be fit for the game, it seems. So that might help. But
has he really? Yeah,
apparently so. Yes. So that should be good. But
once again, I personally wouldn't play him. I don't know, like if he's just back,
even if it's 20 minutes, you need that guy. That guy is.
Oh, definitely.
So
I just don't want him to have a bigger setback just because we're trying to push on in the Champions League. I don't know, like if he's definitely fit and he's definitely ready.
Well, I think he was expected back somewhere around the 16th of March.
Yeah,
so
right.
I guess it's maybe a week before expected. So maybe hopefully it won't be too bad. I think it was somewhere around mid-March that he was expected back.
Right.
If it's definitely not going to cause any issue, then I'd have him playing, obviously, because he's fantastic.
Fair enough. Right, quickly moving on. So I'll probably scrap the game week 30. Well, actually, no, I won't. I'll just be very, very quick about it. So then these next couple of segments are going to be fairly quick. Then, so I'll make sure they'll be quick. So Wolves versus Olympiakos, another game that's going to be played behind closed doors. This is into our Europa League preview. How do you guys? I guess quick score predictions. Really, like, do you guys see Wolves going through this one?
Yeah, Wolves. I think they might go all the way. Because they seem to be really up for it.
Olympiakos are a strong team. They were able to defeat Arsenal, which is no mean feat. Do you not think that they might struggle a bit?
Wolves? That's the thing. Olympiakos going to their ground is tough. But they
didn't beat Arsenal in their ground. They beat them at the Emirates. Was that not correct?
Yeah, but we didn't score at Olympiakos.
Oh, you didn't score Olympiakos? No, I thought you did. You got the away goal, didn't you?
I can't remember.
Yeah, you got the away goal, and you conceded 2 goals at the Emirates. That's what happened, unfortunately.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, it's a blur. I don't. Anyway. I don't know, because like you said, Olympiakos, they are a bit of a difficult side. They used to be a Champions League team consistently, but I think Wolves are just so fired up. They look really calm in Europa League, as if they've been here before. I think Wolves will probably go all the way, but if they face an English side, I don't know what's going to happen in the final. Yeah, I think they're going to get to. I think Wolves are going to go all the way up until final for me. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a tight game because Olympiakos are quite hard to break down. But yeah, we'll see. We shall see.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of share the same sort of thoughts. I think this is going to be their toughest test. It's going to be a really, really a great experience for them, nonetheless. I would say that they've been better in the league than Arsenal, so you could maybe argue that maybe there's a different quality to Wolves in terms of consistency than there was at Arsenal. So maybe they won't struggle as much as what Arsenal did against Olympiakos.
Rasmus A says Olympiakos is in a weird situation after the owner was tested positive for coronavirus. That is interesting.
All right.
I mean, I know obviously they're playing the game behind closed doors. I'd just like to think that wouldn't necessarily affect the team per se. And obviously
maybe he means Corona as in the beer.
Maybe it's the Corona as in the... I mean, I guess there is a thing with the Corona because obviously with Italian games being suspended, I mean, they played with Italian games being suspended indefinitely. There is a thing to be said about what is actually going to happen to the remaining teams in Europe and in the Champions League. So, for example, Napoli and obviously Napoli have already played their Napoli have already played their game at home, but Juventus are supposed to be playing at home to Lyon. So where they're going to play their game, because they've said that they're not doing the whole behind closed doors thing in Italy. Other countries are doing that, like Spain and France and Germany, not UK yet. But Italy have we're not doing any games, we're not doing anything. So in which case, where are Juventus going to play their second leg of the Champions League? Are they going to play it in Lyon? Are they behind closed doors? What's going to happen?
It's quite a bizarre one, isn't it? Really, it's going to be interesting to see. Have we ever seen this in football before? I don't think we have.
As far as I'm aware, we haven't.
Yeah, so it's just a weird time in history. So does it have an effect on the teams? I guess it would do.
Because I think behind closed doors is one thing, even though let's just agree with it, it's there. But if you're actually saying that you're going to suspend all games, which is what Italy are basically doing, then obviously the team can't play their games at home.
Yeah,
so, which will obviously impact. So currently, right now, obviously Atalanta are through. So it affect Atalanta. It would affect Inter Milan, for example, in the Europa League. It would affect Napoli if they get through Barcelona, which they're not going to. So it might not affect Napoli. And it'll affect Juventus, obviously. I don't know if there are any other Italian teams that I've forgotten that are in Europe still.
Lazio, I think. Are they still in?
I don't think so, actually. I don't think Lazio are in the draw.
Inter.
Inter Amman, So Inter's still in the Europa League, but I don't think Lazio are. But anyway, so Rasmus A says Italy's situation is horrible with 10K confirmed cases of corona. My goodness, man, it's weird because Italy just seems to be it seems to be a unique sort. I think compared to I think even more, its population is basically considerably less, obviously, than China, and yet the amount of cases seem to be almost similar in terms of the amount. Somebody said that it might be because Italy have one of the oldest, if not the oldest, population in Europe in terms of elderly, etc. So that could possibly be a reason, and then maybe the other things as well.
I reckon it's heat as well. It's the virus spreads faster when it's slightly warmer. They're starting to get really really high temperatures now, like 20 odd degrees. So that also helps the virus spread. Where here we're consistently way below 10. It's difficult for a virus to stay alive.
Maybe you're right, Sean. Maybe you're right. So it's I think this is a watch this space.
Smokers over there.
I think this will be a watch this space. Yeah, that's indeed. We're sorry. I don't think that will exactly be helping matters either, especially if you're like an 85-year-old and you're still smoking 40 years later.
Yeah,
so
I think they said it affects people with weak respiratory systems.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. I think it's to watch this space anyway. But the impression I'm getting is that everyone is saying that Wolves have got this game. Am I wrong? Okay.
I think
right.
so. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Quickly moving on. I'm going to say something. I'll just make this brief because I'm going to be doing a preview for this on my channel later. So, and obviously we're already almost at an hour, so I don't want this film to go on for too long. But LASK versus United, which will also be played behind closed doors. LASK versus United. They are currently the Austrian Super League leaders right now. So and they're head of RB Salzburg. So there are they are a decent side because I think the RB Salzburg are decent.
Europa League's such a joke of a competition, man. How the hell did we bloody lose to Olympiakos? LASK. I saw this name, and I was like, what is that? It's been in my head for the past couple of days. I was like, LASK. What is LASK? I didn't know it was an actual team. I thought it was like a virus or something.
It's an actual team. Team. Unfortunately, Josh, because Arsenal are at least this season anyway. Arsenal are banned from FD.
By LASK. What you get banned by LASK?
It's because unfortunately, because Arsenal banned their
Olympiakos is the name. LASK. What is that?
It's a name.
Go on.
Olympiakos is the name. Feta cheese, man.
Why do you need to do a
Feta
preview for
cheese.
this?
Feta
Why
cheese.
do you need to do a preview for this? Are you serious?
You were beaten by feta cheese. That's all I have to say, really.
I understand that.
That's
But why are you doing a preview for LASK?
I'm doing
the
a
preview.
preview.
Should be two minutes long. United are going to win. Boom. There you go.
It might be difficult because, like I said, they are the top of Austrian Super League, and RB Salzburg is second. So they're not going to be pushovers. I don't want to underestimate them.
Getting relegated in the Premier League is better than being top of the. Anyway, go on.
I mean, like Arsenal underestimated Olympiakos, and look what happened to them. So
we didn't underestimate them. They're just a good side.
I think he did underestimate them. Let's be real. So it just you didn't play well from the beginning, and then it was just
it's a 2-leg game.
It is a 2-leg game, but to lose one away goal, loser, it's not really ideal. It's not really. If I were Arsenal, I would just take a break from Europe for the next 2 years and just rebuild, and hopefully push on for something. At least that's my opinion, anyway. So, and hope for the best, at least anyway.
Anyway, do the 2 minute preview.
This is so. Essentially, what I'm saying is that we should take them seriously. Sorry, Rasmus A says. What was Rasmus A say? It cost 631 lives in Italy. Yes, that is sad regarding the coronavirus thing. So, like, I really hope that they get on top of it in Italy. So, and I feel for all the doctors and medical staff that are trying to handle the situation as well, because it just seems like it's just pandemonium, which isn't good. And it's just and just hopefully they can get on top of things. So. I think the thing I would say about the whole coronavirus sort of thing is that it does put into perspective the public health, because a lot and what we do with things, because flu, for example, it tends to kill more people, and yet no one seems to sort of really and has killed more people annually and seasonally than this coronavirus sort of thing has, and yet people don't seem to be as diligent or as focused. Yes, we could maybe argue maybe the coronavirus is maybe more potent, but that doesn't change the fact that the amount of the numbers of lives, So I'm hoping at least after this coronavirus event that people can actually just be more aware of the other infectious agents that are killing people a lot more in their numbers, and to not be so reckless and say, well, you know what, I have a flu, but it's okay, I'll go to work, or you know what, I don't need the flu vaccine or other bits and pieces, and therefore causing people harm and stuff. So, but that's beside the point. As far as Team Takage 2, I don't know who this guy is, but he says, "You United fans kill me. Last, whatever is that? Come collect your trophy already, man." That's what Team Takage 2 says. I mean, as far as my Team Takage 2 is an Arsenal fan, and all I would really say to Team Takage 2 is your trophy. You just keep on to your Invincibles trophy. Basically, that's basically.
Well, no one's taking it from us yet.
I'm rejecting Team Takage 2, Josh. That's something. There's, it's that's really all you have, and that's really all you're gonna really.
And no one's gonna have. Take it from us.
I don't see Arsenal winning a major trophy.
See a team like it again.
I don't see Arsenal winning a major trophy for the next 10 years. Let's be real here. So that's just how it is. So shout out to Team Takage 2. Appreciate the comment, but that's just how it is. Rasmus A, do you think it's a matter of time before they cancel EPL matches? It's obviously related to the government policy, and right now the government policy is the thing is, and I know this is a derailed coronavirus talk, but I guess it's important because it will affect future games, is that I don't understand. I was speaking to my friend from London about this, and it was kind of like, you can't close sporting events, for example, and then at the same time, for example, have like public transport, the tube.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't say, right, we're going to close all public cultural events. Like, the same types of people that will be going on the tube will be going to those events. So it's impossible to sort of, I can't see the rationale behind saying, right, we close and stop open sporting events, but we still have public transport going on as usual.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It's 6 and 2 threes in a way.
And if anything, like those are tight, close spaces. You know, at least in the stadium, it's open in the air. There's space. Even if you've been on the tube, people are against each other, rubbing each other, touching surfaces, all the rest of it. So,
what tube do you go on?
Not the metro, you know. So anytime I've been to London, it's just like that. So I just can't see if they do that. Then
It's
to
totally
me,
true.
they would have to close the tubes.
Yeah.
They would have to shut down public transport. Like, you can't
even then the bars would be completely heaving because everyone goes down to watch it in the local pub. And then all of a sudden, you once again, like you just said there, they'll be even closer, and it's not going to be open air. It's going to be inside of warm environment.
Yeah,
and it's 6 and 2 threes. I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's hard.
Exactly. But ultimately, in answer to Josh's question, I do think United will depend on how Solskjaer sets up, and I hope that Solskjaer. I would love Solskjaer to set up with a strong team. To just basically go out, put the tie to bed, maybe score 2 away goals against this side, which would be difficult, anything away from home, and so that we can rest players for the return leg for the following week, because we've got a lot of big games coming up. We're chasing top 4. We're doing the FA Cup. You know, though thankfully, you know, so you know, God has been gracious and given us good ties. So we're going to play Bayern Norwich in the FA Cup. Obviously got this last game, and the remaining games after the Spurs game for the rest of the season are pretty solid. So if Solskjaer's competent, he'll rotate the squads that have minimum injuries, and that will be able to sort of get through the ties and compete on free fronts. But yeah, I predict that United hopefully should win this game 2-0 or at worst 1-0. Is that reasonable? Or does anyone disagree with me?
I mean, it's LASK, so I think that went a bit longer than it should have been. Man United are going to win.
I mean, I need to
move on to the next time. When you play a proper team, then we can do a preview.
I need to replay what your predictions were for the Olympiakos game. Well, I need to watch that podcast again, and just see what was said. So be interesting. So very interesting. I'm sure it wasn't. We will concede 2 goals at the Emirates. Anyway, Rasmus A says, by the way, what a season Josip Milic is having. He scored 4 tonight. I mean, it just shouts out Atalanta, man. I mean, they basically beat Valencia. They basically scored like 9 goals against Valencia on aggregate. And this guy, this Josip Ilic, I think that's how you pronounce it. This guy's a beast. Ilic, is it? Ilic, yeah. This guy's a beast.
Yeah.
You know,
he's underrated.
Sean was saying like Dortmund the dark horses, but for me, Atalanta the dark horse.
Nah, they're not.
Really?
No. Their defense is trash.
Their defense is trash, but they do score goals. They do score a lot of goals.
Yeah, but they were. I remember they were in the Champions League last year, right?
No. This is their first season in the Champions League.
Their first season.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can score a lot of goals, but they can they just conceded 4 goals or 3 goals just there.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, like the coach probably made a couple of changes. The tie was over. You know, like it was like 4-1 in the previous tie, and they scored another 4 goals. So like, you know, it's very difficult to be like their defense is poor when they only conceded 1 goal away. Like
in the group stages, they conceded loads as well. They I think it was the last game. They managed to, I think they won 1. Did they even win? I can't even remember.
They did
but
win.
They did win their last game, and that's how they got through. When
32
they
years
play
of
for proper team, what?
32 he is.
Yeah, that's what Rasmus says. Yeah, 32. So it's even more credit to him. It's also shout out to people who think that Igala will fail at United, because it doesn't matter about age; it's all about passion and commitment.
Yeah.
Last quick,
he's been good.
Last quick thing, a quick one. See what you guys think. Rangers, obviously, because Celtic were knocked out by FC Copenhagen, but Rangers with Steven Gerrard, who've done quite well. Fair play to Rangers for getting so far in Europe. This is the furthest they've been for quite some time. Do Rangers versus Bayer Leverkusen? Do you think Rangers have a chance here?
That's going to be a good game.
Yeah,
That's going to be a really good game because Leverkusen, on their day, they're just. I mean, they put 4 past Dortmund. That Kai Havertz, he's something special. He'll probably be on his way. I imagine maybe it's like a City or someone amazing, basically. So yeah, I think Demaray. They've got loads of good players, Leverkusen, but for me, their defense is shocking. Their defense is shocking. They've got that Jonathan Tah, who was meant to be the next sort of good centre back, German centre back, and he's trash. They've got Sven Bender, I think his name is, or Lars Bender, one of them two. One of the Bender brothers. Basically their defense is woeful. Their midfield is amazing, and their attack is very good as well. They've got Volland, and there's another guy who played against it in the last leg because Volland was injured. I forget his name now, but he basically, he filled in for Volland as if he hadn't been gone anywhere. So yeah, sort of midfield and attack outstanding, but defense woeful. So if Rangers can, they're really good on the counter attack. Kent is on loan from Liverpool. He's so fast. His finishing is not very good, but he's very fast.
Yeah.
Hadji, son of the legend. He's very, very good. They've got a couple of other Liverpool players. Obviously, what's that guy's name? The Colombian or Venezuelan, I've got his name now. Morelos? Morelos? Yeah, they've got him too. I think he was suspended last game, and they still managed to win. So, for me, it's going to be an outstanding. It's definitely not me goal. This is what I'm trying to say. There's going to be a lot of goals, and it's going to be a really exciting tie. Maybe one of the best ties out of the whole sort of Europe that week. But
Rasmus says, should Rangers even try? I think they're going to get battered against Leverkusen. Well, Rasmus, you don't know. And to be honest, the Scottish League is over. Celtic already got it. So, and they've not got any cups. So really, Europe is really the only thing that Rangers have to fight for, really. So if I was Steven Gerrard to make a statement, I would push for it. And of course,
definitely, yeah.
If Rangers do somehow beat Leverkusen, then suddenly you're thinking, hang on a minute, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
So that's what I would go anyway. Sean, do you have any thoughts on that? And we'll just quickly do quickly just preview the game week 28 games and then take it from there.
I thought they were going to get knocked out. I got to admit,
they've beaten some big teams.
Yeah,
like Porto and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. I thought Steven Gerrard, one of I really look up to that guy. But I was betting against him. I was thinking to myself, nah, that's it now. I think they'll probably. It was great that they won at home, but I don't think that they'll win away. And they've made it through, so they surprised me. They could surprise us again. I'm not going to rule it out for sure.
Okay, fair enough. So quick score prediction, Josh. What do you think?
I'm going 2-2.
2-2. 2-2.
Plenty of goals.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Who's in the upper hand?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Last but not least, and we're about to wrap this up. So it's the game week 30 preview. Obviously, a lot of matches coming up. I think first things first. Obviously, this is the last game of game week 29, which is Manchester City versus Arsenal. Arsenal traveling to the Etihad, where City haven't necessarily been completely successful. I'm going to pass it over to Josh to see what he thinks about it before we go into the weekend games. Do you think Arsenal can beat Manchester City? Do you think Arteta's football and style will be able to come Pep Guardiola? Obviously, bearing in mind Pep Guardiola is probably potentially thinking of the away leg to Real Madrid in the following week.
Follow me.
Well, not even just that, but obviously he's playing again on the weekend as well. So City in a difficult situation when they played United. Then obviously they're playing midweek. They're playing you. Then this weekend, I think they're playing. I'll just get that up. They're playing. They're playing again this weekend. Yeah, they're playing Burnley at home, and then obviously the following week on Wednesday they're playing Real Madrid. So a lot of big games. So you never know. But what do you think?
You go ahead
Basically,
and get that result.
Yeah, that's it, really. Like, literally, you can't overthink this. We got battered. This was when we were in a transition phase, but I think we still would have got battered anyway. If Emery was still there, I know Ljungberg was there at the time, I believe. Or was it Emery? I can't even remember. No, it doesn't even matter. But if I'm Arsenal manager, and we're unbeaten already in the Premier League this season. Sorry, in 2020. What are you laughing at?
Sorry, you just said this season. I was like, what? What's going on? What season are you talking about? Unbeaten in the Premier League, not obviously in general.
Yeah, only undefeated team in 2020 in the Premier League. Anyway, just got to continue to stay there. And so I think if I'm Arteta, if my players give me, well, how many games are there left? So like 11 or something? A bit over that. I'm just saying, you guys give me. You guys basically win or draw the remaining of your games. Don't lose any more games, and you give it your all. If the teams above you get better than that somehow by winning all the remaining of their games or whatever, then you've still given your all. You haven't lost any games. That's the only thing you can say. Just continue to do as you're doing, because they haven't lost in 2020. You keep going as you do. We're on a. I think we've won our last 3 in the Premier League. So you've got to think City aren't the strongest right now, and De Bruyne, I don't think it will be playing. I'm not entirely sure. He didn't play against. I hope he's not resting De Bruyne so that he can bloody play him against Arsenal. Yeah, that would just be the ultimate troll. It's like, why do that? I don't think.
He's got to rotate players. He's got to rotate players, doesn't he? And in 10 days, or maybe more than that, slightly. Maybe 12 something days. He's played United, Arsenal, Burnley, and Real Madrid. Although I'll bet 3 of those games will be at home, so it can't be too many complaints. But obviously, those are a lot of games to be played. Sunday, then Wednesday, then Saturday, then was it Tuesday or Wednesday again? So if De
Bruyne plays, I don't think we're going to win. Is what I'm trying to say. If he doesn't play, then I think we've got it.
So you think that Arsenal can go to City and win
if De Bruyne doesn't play?
If De Bruyne doesn't play, Shawnee, what do you think? Do you think Arsenal have a chance against City?
Yeah, I'm not ruling anyone out against City, really. They just seem to just be a little thrown off. I don't know whether it's this whole, maybe that there's no potential Champions League for them next season. I know that's under contention, but whether that's maybe, I don't know, throwing the spanners in the works at the club a little bit. They're just, it's very sporadic. It's like win loss, win loss, win loss, win loss. It's kind of odd. However, it's going to be a really, really hard one for Arsenal. They're going to have to play it as if it's like a cup final. I don't know, and that's the thing. I don't know why Arsenal would play it like that. So I really hope so, because obviously it then helps Liverpool out a lot more. And once again, we can break another record of winning the Premier League, have the Premier League wrapped up with, I think 8 games remaining or something. So can they? Yeah, they can. But also at the same time, City can bounce back and get a result as well. It just depends on who. Arsenal have seemed like there's a lot of quality
in the Arsenal side right now. Arteta has done a great job since he's been there.
It just feels that anytime City get humiliated, Arsenal always seem to be on the back end of a pounding. So it's just kind of like, like when they've been bruised, then when the lion, beware the wounded animal, so that's kind of sort of the thing we have. So I think that I think Arsenal definitely have a chance, but I don't think Pep Guardiola was in the mindset, because obviously we need to think about momentum as well. I don't think Pep Guardiola was in the mindset that I want to lose 2 games back to back.
No,
so that's not something that I want to happen from confidence of the team, etc. Because suddenly, you lose that, then Burnley maybe get a draw, and suddenly you're going into a Real Madrid game with like 2 losses and potentially a draw in your last 3. And you don't have that confidence again, So, but we'll see. It will depend on how he sets up, I guess. So so what's your prediction, Josh? What do you think the score will be?
You got to believe him, you really. I mean, we can't be what's it called, nitpicking points and stuff like, oh, we can beat this team, because we haven't beat the teams we're supposed to beat this season. We drew with Norwich when they probably should have beaten us, to be fair. Brighton beat us at home. There's so many games where and then we win games that we shouldn't win. We beat United, we beat other teams. Like, it's just, so for me, it would just be not ironic, but it would be typical of how Arsenal's season is if we just go and beat City now. It'll be absolutely typical of our seasons, and then beat City, and then I think we've got who is after someone hard after that as well. I can't remember who it is.
I think you would. I think you still have to play Spurs, but I mean that doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, we got Spurs. We've got Liverpool still.
You have
big team. I forgot who it is.
Leicester. Have you played Leicester twice?
I think it's Leicester next. After City.
I don't think you played Wolves twice either, have you?
I
don't think Arsenal finished Wolves. Oh, sorry, Rasmus say a comment. Sorry, shout out to man. How far can Atlanta go in your opinion? I will say quarterfinals. Well, obviously they're in the quarterfinals already. I don't
exactly, and they're not getting past it.
Yeah, I can't with the amount of teams that are. Well, it does depend on who they get drawn potentially, because if they get drawn against a Leipzig, you never know. But I think all the other teams that could potentially go through, even against Dortmund, you never know because they can score goals. But any team bigger, I can't see it because the other teams will be defensively more solid. So I would say quarterfinals as far as Atalanta can go. Does anyone disagree with that before we move on?
No.
Yes, they can go as far as if they come across either Liverpool or Dortmund.
Fair enough. Right. Okay. So for the last skin, I'll literally just go. We'll do what we do, where we'll just go around one match and just like score prediction, who will win, etc. And then we'll leave it at that.
I just wanted to quickly say that Arsenal do have Leicester and Wolves still to come, and Tottenham, and then Liverpool. So they're the kind of
that's tough. That sounds very, very tough.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if we beat City,
Sheffield,
it's like, okay, there we go. There's some belief.
They've got Sheffield United as well.
Yeah, Sheffield. Yeah.
Jeez, man. Like, it's so essentially the last 8 games, Arsenal basically have to play everyone above them.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best.
You do.
At the end of the day,
you do. We're
losing against bloody teams that we shouldn't be losing to.
Like Olympiakos.
And then we're like, oh, we should have beat them, and then we go and do the number on something, So you can't be. You just got to. If you want to be the best, you got to beat everybody. Plain and simple. That's what Liverpool have done this season. They've just beaten everybody. So that's what you got to do.
Apart from Watford,
Watford. But then Watford going to who was it? Villa or some crap. I don't even know who it was.
When we battered Watford, but anyway, this is fine.
Anyway, go on.
So Shawnee, just going into you, Watford versus Leicester City. That's the first thing 12:30 game actually on Saturday. What's for Leicester City? Just quick score prediction. Who do you think will win?
Yeah, no, Leicester. I think Leicester are they're past their blip now, coming back to winning ways. Really convincing performance on the weekend. I think like Watford only turned up for Liverpool, and they looked atrocious. On the weekend. I'm going to go 3-1 to Leicester. I'll give them a goal.
3-1 to Leicester. Okay, cool. Josh, AFC Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace. Oh, also, guys, for those who are watching the news channel, please like, share, and subscribe to LIVERPOOL and give us your score predictions in the comments. I really appreciate it. Remember to like the vid. Sorry, Josh. AFC Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace. Bournemouth are in trouble right now.
Yeah,
a lot of trouble.
Palace actually did really well. Palace, they beat Brighton, didn't they? Yeah, they beat Brighton, and then they beat their last game as well. That was Watford, wasn't it? Yeah, that was Watford. So they're on a decent little run right now. But if I'm Palace, I'm thinking I might be able to get into Europa League spot here. And if they keep winning, then you can't give it against them. So do you not think
that they might think that, oh, we're already safe, let's just sort of hold on the gas? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think they're too far off Europa League spot. But I mean, if you're winning, it gives you confidence. They got 2 wins now in a row, and I mean, when Benteke's playing well, exactly. Yeah. So Ayu's just come back in the team. He's scoring again. Zaha isn't getting goals and assists, but he's making an impact. They look good, and Bournemouth don't look good. I really would hate if Bournemouth went down, but it's looking likely, very likely. I know they had a good performance against Liverpool, but yeah, I mean, Liverpool are always going to win that game. But yeah, that's
fair enough. I'll sticking with you. Arsenal, obviously they're playing against City, but they're going to be playing away to Brighton. Now, Arsenal have had issues with Brighton before, as we know. Do you think that they can beat Brighton this time?
They're going to have to. The reverse fixture, they played so poorly. I've probably never seen a worse Arsenal performance than that. It was shocking, especially at the Emirates. I mean, the Olympiakos game was pretty woeful too, to be honest, because I was at the Emirates. But I think they'll be thinking, listen, you can't get beat by Brighton 2 times in one season. Reverse fixture, make sure you get this done. So yeah, Arsenal will win.
So what do you think the score prediction?
Arsenal 3-1. Lacazette hat-trick. That was a joke.
I was going to say, I mean, really?
Yeah,
I mean, even Aguero scored more goals than Lacazette in 2020, so, but anyway, but you think 3-1 to Arsenal? Okay, watch this space. Shawnee, City versus Burnley. City at home, obviously.
Yeah, City at home. It's a clear win for Burnley, I think. Just pure. No, I'm joking. I don't know. Like, I think it's obviously just my ideal scenario is that City lose the next 2 games. But I think City at home. It depending on what happens at Arsenal. Is De Bruyne going to be back? It's going to be a contributing factor. But I don't think Burnley are going to go to the Etihad and win there. I mean, they might surprise us and maybe get a 2-2 draw or a 1-1 draw or something. I don't know, but for me anyway, I can't see that City are going to go on a losing streak and lose to Arsenal and Burnley at the same time. So I think if City get a good result at Arsenal, that might spur them on to win against have a more convincing win against Burnley. But all in all, I think it's going to be a City win. I'm going to go with 2-1 to City.
2-1 to City. Okay, fair enough. Okay, I'm going to quickly preview the next 2 before we move on. So, Newcastle United versus Sheffield United. Sheffield United are actually doing very well, actually. You know, they're still a top 4 threat. I don't think Wolves have enough to get top 4. I think their draw showed that what I've always expected of Wolves, where yes, they're giant killers, but when they come against teams with a low block, they do struggle. Sheffield United, on the other hand, are not doing that per se. That said, the last time Sheffield United played Newcastle, Newcastle surprised them and caused them problems, as everyone remembers the Shelby goal that was sort of not offside, VAR, the controversy there. And I think Steve Bruce might have something up his sleeve in that respect. So if I'm honest, I'm actually going to give this to Newcastle.
Okay.
I think, sorry?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I know people might think that, oh, why so? But I suspect Newcastle might have, either it will be a draw or a 1-0 to Newcastle. So, because Newcastle are, you know, there's a bit of confidence around there. Not been amazing, but, you know, they're through to the furthest they've been in the FA Cup under the Ashley era, you know, through to the quarterfinals. They're mid-table. And St. Maximilian and a few other players that they have are doing quite well. So I think that Sheffield United if Sheffield United do beat Newcastle, however, then, you know, we do generally have to think that Sheffield United, I always thought they were going to be top 4 contenders, but I mean, they're now serious contenders, very, very serious contenders, you know. So, but I give the win to Newcastle. Josh, Norwich City, Southampton.
I mean, Norwich are going to go down, but they're not going to go down without a fight.
Fight, exactly.
Yeah, they've been really, honestly, entertaining to watch this season. They recently, was a couple of games ago, I forgot who they beat, but they beat Leicester, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
that was what spurned their sort of, you know, they beat Leicester, but again, they weren't able to take advantage of the small teams. That's the problem. So,
credit to Southampton, because they were bottom and look where they are now. It's unfortunate Norwich couldn't do the same, because they've picked it up in a way. When I watch them, like, they don't look bad at all. They don't. It's lacking something. I don't know what it is.
They just can't. They're lacking good defenders, I would just say.
No. Like, even, I think it wasn't Liverpool. Who the hell was it that I was watching them? Maybe Spurs or something. And like, they're decent. They just maybe like a holding midfielder, someone just to break up play. Because they're actually really, I mean, I think they'll be back up. I think they'll be back up. Just the way they play is so good. They're 1 or 2 people away from. I mean, then again, they've got so many great players that Aaron's right back. He might be gone at the end of the season. He's fantastic. Cantwell, Wendy. There's actually some quality people in their team. But for me, you know what it is? I'm going to give this 1-1. Yeah, I'm gonna give Norwich. I'm going down without a fight. I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay, fair enough.
De Bruyne might be playing. So anyway,
De Bruyne might be playing against Arsenal.
It's possible. Actually, no. They're back in training. Never mind. Ignore that.
Okay, fine, fair enough.
I think he's probably going to save him for Real Madrid.
He probably should save him for Real Madrid or play him against Burnley. Shawnee, Aston Villa versus Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea once again absolutely smashing it. Like, I don't know if you guys watched any of the highlights, but my goodness me, they look really ferocious on the ball, really aggressive. Chelsea.
It's Gilmore. Gilmore has just changed everything.
Yeah.
Where did they get this kid? This Welsh? I mean, this Scottish.
Barkley looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Just brilliant. Just a real confidence on the ball. I don't reckon Chelsea are going to lose this, even though like Villa really need to get some results. Otherwise, they're just going to be gone. I don't think they're going to do that against Chelsea, though. Convincing win, 3-1 for Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fair enough. Okay, West Ham versus Wolves. I could see this happening in a draw again, to be honest. I just can't see Wolves struggle against these types of teams, you know. So and West Ham are also fighting for their survival as well. Wolves aren't, and I'll possibly be also thinking about Europa League as well, and don't have the squad to necessarily compete in all fronts. So you know what, 1-1 West Ham Wolves. That's my score prediction.
Okay.
I'll continue on because obviously it's Spurs United. Obviously, we're doing a preview of that respect. I'm not going to speak long about it because obviously we're coming towards the end of the show. But United have to win this game. City, for me, this is our, in my opinion, like last in theory hardest game. I mean, okay, you could probably argue. I think we still have to play Sheffield United and Leicester. I think we have to play Sheffield United and Leicester twice. I think we do. Yeah, I think we have to play them twice. But this is our sort of, in theory, our top 6 of the hardest game, and I don't think it's going to be hard. Spurs without a recognised forward shouldn't cause United many problems. And if Solskjaer actually just goes out to attack Spurs, like Leipzig basically did today, it could basically be a battering. Actually, it could actually be a battering because we have the quality of player to cause Spurs, and Spurs don't have. We don't actually have to play 3 at the back or play any 2 holding midfielders because Spurs don't have any bite up front. So we don't necessarily need so because we've played with 2 holding midfielders most of your season or 3 at the back, but we don't need to do that against Spurs because they've got no attacking threat. So if we just go out and attack with the pace that we have, I think that Spurs it could be problematic for Spurs. So I'm going to predict 3-0 to Manchester United.
Okay.
My prediction.
Wow. I hope so because I got Bruno Fernandes in my team.
Yeah, I've got him as well. I because I just don't see what threat that Spurs have really. You know, they've got no Kane, no Son, no Sissoko. Sorry. The Parrot guy might play, you know, but they don't. Just.
I mean, that would be like one of United's best results of the season. That was the case.
So yeah, I just think that I just don't see what I just don't see what Spurs have as a threat anyway to United. I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Last but not least, let's finish this stream because we're going to be late. With the big one, the Merseyside derby, which is on Monday for some strange reason, not Sunday. I don't get that. And depending on obviously what Arsenal do, it might be the title decider. Liverpool at Goodison Park. Shawnee, can Liverpool do do at Everton and Goodison Park, especially given how far Carlo Ancelotti seems to have taken Everton right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of a setback for them, wasn't it? So, no doubt about it. They've had some. They've really picked it up, and they're looking like good quality, like a good quality team. Their run hasn't been particularly great, though. I mean, in 5 games, they've only won 2 losses and a draw. It's similar from West Ham, you know, who are 16th. So like their run has dipped a little bit, and it's a good time to play them. They've oh my days, we have had so many good results against Everton over the last 10 years. There just seems to be just this block. They just can't beat us. And I think just I don't know. Like for me, I think this is maybe going to be easier than what most people think. You don't think that there might be, because I think that if Arsenal do beat City or get something from City, that there will not be that added emphasis that Everton, you know, it was like, for example, when Manchester United were, I think it was 2 seasons ago, where Manchester United were playing City, and if City had beaten United, it was at the Etihad, to be fair, and had they beaten United, they would have won the trophy, and it was like that was the sort of added emphasis. Thankfully,
United grew a pair and beat City 3-2 at the Etihad, which was banter. You know, so do you not think that there would be some added? Yes, Everton fans know that Liverpool are going to win the league, but if they could actually beat Liverpool at Goodison to stop that from happening, you know, at least on their field, you know, don't you think that's enough momentum for motivation for them?
Yeah, definitely momentum or motivation. Either which one, it just doesn't seem to matter because they just haven't had they've just had a bad 10 years against us. They really have. Like, it doesn't really matter if it's FA Cup or just generally the league. It's just been a horrible 10 years for the blue side of Merseyside because it's just been a horror show for them every single time we've met them. I think it's just there's too much. I think there's too much of a block for them to damage us there. I think, and like I say, I think it's going to be easier than what most people think. Depending on what happens at Atletico as well, if we get that bit of momentum back, get our stride back, so we can strut into Goodison and just confidently get a win there. I'm going to go with a shocking 3-0 to Liverpool.
3-0. Okay.
It's our final. It's not Everton's final.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So that's us. So thanks for everyone who's watching, staying by, like the vid, etc. If you're new to the channel, please like the vid, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back obviously next week, where we'll follow up on what we said. I'm going to hopefully bring out some, you know, now that we do a lot of these predictions, but we're gonna be hopefully doing a few interesting things with you guys in the comments, and please give us suggestions regarding forfeits that will happen for people who get their results wrong. So we'll probably do something weekly where we will predict instead of doing.
Well, it's easy when you're playing teams like LASK. You can't look anyway.
So
he's sneaky, isn't he, Sean?
We'll probably just end up doing. You know, I mean, well, it's easy to predict Arsenal results now anyway, but like where we'll basically all predict 3 games, and obviously the person who ends up being bottom after maybe 2 or 3 weeks, you know, has to do a forfeit or something like that. So we'll put the forfeit on the channel, or something along those lines. But yes, take care, everyone. It's bye from myself, Old Man G, Shawnee, and Josh. Have a nice week.